What's going on, wrestling family? Welcome back to the channel. So I'm a little bit under the weather, but I'm going to answer these questions anyways. The first question comes from Miss B86. I don't know if that means that you were born in 86, but if so, salute to the 80s babies. If not, salute to you for giving me this question. I really appreciate that. And she asks, can I please, por favor, aquí, get your honest opinion about Nia Jax? Because I feel if she was not related to The Rock, Roman Reigns, or Jimmy and Jay, she wouldn't have a career, and I can't stand that because she is an unsafe wrestler and she's really going to hurt somebody. Okay, so two things, Miss B. For one, thank you so much for your question. Number two, I can tell you cannot stand Nia Jax. You hate this lady, okay? And I'm not saying that you hate her in jealousy. I think you hate the idea that someone's in the ring and unsafe and potentially harming and could be ending someone's career, which is a genuine concern because when it comes to wrestling, one of the most important things is obviously that it has to be as entertaining as possible, but more importantly, you have to protect the other person you're in the ring with because you guys are trusting each other. You know, you have to do at the best of your ability to have both people come out of the match the same way they came in. And unfortunately, sometimes it doesn't always happen that way. People get hurt. That's a part of wrestling. But you have to try in the best of your ability to make sure that everyone is safe. And we saw a great display of that at Crown Jewel with Logan Paul, where, you know, Rey Mysterio almost tombstone power drive himself in the middle of the ring. And thank God that Logan Paul caught him in midair because he could have ended his career, if not something worse. And, you know, landing on your neck is not something to play with. So thank God that we saw that happen, and kudos to Logan Paul for that. So what I want to do is address the part about her not being here or having a career if she was not related to The Rock and Roman Reigns and things like that. And I've had people ask me, like, why is she back? Do you think The Rock is making calls to keep her around WWE? I'll address that part after I address this part of the question, because I think this is kind of interesting. I don't put my tinfoil hat on because I don't know a lot of stuff. I'm just going to make some speculations, guys, because I don't talk to Nia Jax. I don't know her personally, nor do I know anybody in WWE, okay? So the whole part about if she was not related to The Rock, Roman Reigns, or Jimmy and Jay, she wouldn't have a career. That could be true. That could be true. You know, because a lot of people have had careers and got their foot in the door due to nepotism, specifically relations to The Rock. I can't say Roman Reigns and Jay and Jimmy for her because she kind of came in before all three of them got really, really big, right? But nepotism happens in wrestling all the time. You have wrestler kids having, you know, opportunities that they probably shouldn't have, and some who get in the door and actually excel at that. You see that happen left and right, up and down. They always reference their family members. And we even see this in even smaller promotions, right? There's people who are related to members of the bloodline or the Great Samoan family, and they use that as a marketing tool for people to watch their promotion. They'll be like, next up on YouTube Federation Pro Wrestling Confederation, we got a match of the first debut of The Rock's ex-cousin's baby daddy's ex-wife friend who used to be friends with Rikishi, but not anymore. They used to follow each other, but they unfollowed each other. But will he be a member of the bloodline in the future? Who knows? Come watch YouTube wrestling. Like that's what they do. You know, they do that in every promotion. And people eat off of nepotism, and for some people it's very profitable. So it's not something that's bad. I mean, we see Ava Raine, she's literally The Rock's daughter. We see Tamina. You see, there's so many people related to people who are part of like wrestling royal families or wrestlers in the past and things like that. So it kind of happens. Now, as far as her being an unsafe wrestler, like, we've seen her try to commit attempted murder in the ring with a lot of these women, okay? And she still has a job. So it's safe to assume that her connection with the Samoa family is really keeping her around, right? Because we can't think of anything else. But I would have to propose this to you. Even though that's probably what got her in the door, I don't know if that's keeping her around, right? And I get the idea that people say that The Rock's keeping her around. I felt that way about Hit Row, like Triple H probably has a promise or something that he has with Swerve Strickland, or Swerve Strickland got some pictures that of Stephanie McMahon that could probably end up on a hub, and Triple H is trying to protect it, because I can't explain why Hit Row has been around this long. It makes no sense at all. I've said that in another video. It's not that I hate them. I just don't understand. They got whole concerts in shows and things like it's crazy for a group like that has no connection with the crowd. I understand that Uncle Phil got fired, but that's a whole nother conversation. But as far as Nia Jax still being around because of her relation to The Rock, I feel like there has to be more to it than just that. There has to be. And the reason why I feel that way is because we just saw her return recently, right? And WWE had this pending merger with UFC to create TKO, one of their biggest business ventures of all time. And in knowing this thing was pending, they still brought back Nia Jax, which most people consider as one of these unsafe wrestlers that's really going to hurt somebody. And if that is going to be the case, it makes you wonder why. If she is this completely unsafe wrestler that no one probably wants to work with, why would they bring her at this time? While they're having a lot of people investing in their company, they created a new merger, all kind of stuff. Why do this now? And then have her not only come back, but have her in the ring with top talent. With top talent. We just saw her have a match at Crown Jewel with Rhea Ripley and multiple women, which considerably could, we can all consider as the top women on Raw, regardless of how you feel about their talent. But on Raw, those are top women, and specifically your champion, who is red hot right now, Rhea Ripley. Why risk putting her in a ring with somebody like that when you could potentially hurt her, ruin your ratings for your show, ruin people who could potentially be the future champion and things like that, just because The Rock said you should bring her back? That's not a smart business move, in my personal opinion. That just The Rock 10. I know they want to appease The Rock and possibly have a match against him and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, but I don't think that's enough to bring her back for that. To have her if she's back and she's like in the Performance Center, if she's back and they just send her back to NXT, but that's a whole different story. But to have her wrestle your top talent is just crazy. And not only that, she had another match with multiple women on Raw for number one contender against most of the women on the entire, in WWE. And you're risking more women by having her in the ring. So part of me is like, yeah, she's an unsafe wrestler, but do WWE really believe that though? Do they really, and again, this is my tinfoil hat, do they really believe she's as unsafe as she really is? I don't know what conversations they have backstage after these injuries happen with people in the ring with her. I understand that injuries happen. I get that some of those things are very blatant. I mean, the punch to Becky Lynch was, and she had Becky Lynch gushing, is very blatant, which is probably one of the best things that happened in Becky's career, in my personal opinion, or like that got her, her traction as the man for people who weren't fans of her before. But part of me is like, I think WWE feels like that she feels some type of void that other people can't. Now, is she great in the ring? I don't think so. Is she amazing on the mic? I don't think so. But I think the idea that, or the fact that she's this person who's dangerous in the ring, that mystique, I think WWE loves that. I'm not saying that they're trying to tell her to go out there and injure people, but I think they like that idea, because I remember having this conversation before with someone around the time that Daniel Bryan had that hemp belt. And he was a heel, which was funny. Like I thought it was funny. People was mad, although that belt just looked like had like Lucky Charm marshmallows all over it. But people were upset about that. And I was having this conversation with my guy Tommy and Carmine. And one thing we did bring up is that when it comes to heels, the problem is around that time is that there's too many likable heels. People boo them because they have to, but they genuinely do not like that. They do not want to dislike that person. I'm sorry. As soon as that person turns face, they're on their side. But there are very rare situations where there's a heel and people genuinely hate him. That's why Dominic Mysterio, that's why people consider him as one of the number one heels in WWE, because people genuinely dislike this guy. They like to boo him out the building, in ways that we haven't seen in a long time. And I'm not saying that her level is on Dominic Mysterio, but what I'm saying is that she does draw that heel heat because of the people she injured in the past, because people don't like how she, do things in the ring. And I think WWE feels like, hey, she's a heel, she's a magnet for, hey, let's put her in these situations and in these matches, because people are like, I'm going to watch this because she could possibly hurt somebody in the ring, which is kind of crazy. But people are like watching that. And if she does anything, if someone breaks a fingernail around her, all the articles are going to put things up. Nia Jax hurt somebody again, and then they're going to continue that same narrative and add on to her reputation. And also, I feel like a part of it, and this may has nothing to do with it, but I feel like part of it has to do with, obviously she's a powerhouse in the ring, but I think it has to do with her body, like not like that, but as far as the way she looks. And I think that has something to do with it too, as far as representation and things like that. And I'm not a big person on that type of thing, saying that has to do with everything, but I think that has something to do with it, because she's the only woman of that shape in the main roster right now that's doing what she's doing, outside of like Piper Niven, of course, but I don't think it's on the level of Nia Jax, right? I don't think, as far as how many people kind of rally behind Nia Jax, it's not the same as her. Because believe it or not, there are people who are fans of her. Like she got like 1.7 million followers on Instagram or something like that, and there are a lot of people. And I get that there could be bots on there, but there's a lot of people who like the fact that a woman looking like her is wrestling in WWE. And I can't speak on that because I have nothing to do with that. I have no relation to that. I have nothing, but I've seen it. I've seen it. As much as people say they don't like her in articles, there are people, I see the same guys who will go on YouTube and make videos and say how terrible she is as a person and go under her page every time she posts a photo and say, oh my God, you're beautiful. Heart eyes emoji, heart eyes emojis. I've seen that. So there's, again, I know I'm going off track, but there's more to it than her being related to the family. I feel maybe it is. Maybe The Rock did make the call and say make her come back, but I can't see WWE risking their business on letting a woman like that in the ring with some of their top stars. It just personally just doesn't make any sense. But at the end of the day, again, I don't know what they talk about backstage. I'm not around Nia Jax. I don't talk to them. You may have to ask Mojo Riley because he's always around her for some reason. So they may know more than I do. But I don't know. What do you guys think about Nia Jax? Let me know in the comment section. Thank you for your questions. Salute. Peace. Have a good day.